Kanye, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to drop Donda 2, kind of just out of nowhere, and I'm not really, I don't give a shit at all, really, about that album. For those of you that don't know, obviously, Donda 2 was the last real album from Kanye that premiered in, I think, 2022, I want to say. He did a whole event down in Atlanta doing I think it was down in Atlanta, doing a whole, show with all, like, or not with all the features, but with a good amount of people there. He had Playboy Carti, Fabio Foreign, Alicia Keys. Donda 2, at the time, was exclusive through the stem player, and the stem player was a little tool that basically just kind of EQ'd out and broke stems up on the fly for songs that any user wanted to upload to it. Kanye didn't really want to keep releasing through DSPs like Spotify and Apple. He wanted to release his own thing separately, so he was going to release it through the stem player exclusively for $200, which, as you can guess, sparked a lot of fucking controversy. There was a lot of conversation that came up from that, from people talking about, is it right to paywall your music behind a $200 paywall for even your most dedicated fans? And at the end of the day, the general conversation was just artist priced at whatever you really think it's worth, and if Kanye thinks that this album's worth $200, fair enough. If I gave you my opinion on Donda 2 from when I first heard it 3 years ago, I would tell you it was by far Kanye's worst album. Like, if we're not including Jesus is King into that whole event, but even if we are including Jesus is King, we're still probably going around, the same wavelength, but I think it's still probably a little worse than Jesus is King. Donda 2, man, was just horrible, and I get, right, Donda 2 wasn't necessarily finished when it came out. I'm sick of giving Kanye the pass of saying that we can't necessarily judge his albums or, say that his album's bad or anything based off the fact that it's not finished. It was the same thing I got a lot of comments on back when I reacted to Bully when he put that out on YouTube. People were saying this is literally not the finished version. Okay, but at the same time, understand, he put this out as a final presentation and representation of what this is. I don't give a fuck if it's not finished. I'm gonna say what I think about it, and if I think negatively about it, anything that I say about his music doesn't fucking matter at all. I'm just a dipshit who's listening to it, and I'm just giving my thoughts that don't matter at all at a fucking camera. Beside that point, it was kind of the same general idea of, well, it's not finished, he said that he's gonna keep working on it, and the main way that the majority of people listened to Donda 2 was through people uploading the stems for each and every single song as they were individually packaged, putting them all together in some DAW, and then just listening to them unmixed, basically. It was really not ideal, and it just was kind of I remember hearing it, and it was horribly unfinished. I thought that there was a lot of shit missing from the album. Entire, verses of just him, mumbling along, totally not finished recording them at all. It left me wanting more from it, but at the end of the day, 3 years have passed. I couldn't give less of a fuck about Donda 2. Donda 2 is just what it is. Obviously, throughout the past, 3 or 4 days, there's been a lot of talk coming out from people that are around Kanye, and Kanye himself talking about getting the album out and putting it out there, and I was actually a little bit excited, because I was like, oh shit, maybe he's going to finish the album, and maybe he will update some stuff, but I was also worried that this is now current day Kanye, 2025 Kanye, working on Donda 2, and not 2022 depressed and divorced Kanye working on Donda 2, and I didn't really know what to expect from that. I'm happy to report, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like 2025 Kanye has had too much of a crazy impact on the album. There is a DJ Academic sample from a video that Ak uploaded onto Twitter calling out Kim K and the fucking Kardashians, saying that they shouldn't get to raise Kanye's kids, which that's a whole other topic, whatever. I think Kanye should still be able to see his kids. At the end of the day, it still isn't finished. What do you do? What are you doing? And that's not even my opinion. Kanye on stream, for some reason he was on stream with fucking Neon and Sneeko, two of the biggest fucking rats on the internet. He's on a live stream on Kick with them working on the album, and he literally says at the end of it, we're still gonna be cleaning up some stuff. Why are you releasing it then? His own actual reasoning for putting it out there is that because it's his first real independent release, and he wants to just get it out there so that the people can have it. Nobody was asking for it. Yes, there were a couple of people, maybe, but can we just start it clean slated? I don't know, what the fuck else? And also, your first independent release, what are you talking about? Vultures 1 and 2 were released independently through the Yeezy label, if that's even a real label, who knows? Those were both independently released projects. This is not your first independent release. Maybe as a solo artist, sure, through DSPs, but no, it's not your first independent release. You have had an independent release. You set a record with your first independent release. Take that. Own that. You can be proud of that. Vultures 1 did fantastic. This is something different and something that's been out for a while that I personally couldn't have given a fuck about. I think also in the clip that I seen on Twitter, he was like talking about like dropping music like on the monthly. Shut the fuck up. That never is gonna happen. It just pisses me off more and more for the fact that like for the longest time it was rubbed in the fans' faces and always just kind of shoved off as like, no, like you will have to buy this $200 product, which also, if you bought a stem player, you bought it only for Donda 2. I mean, you weren't one of the people who were interested in it. I was genuinely interested in it. I never bought one. Thankfully, they did end up putting just the software that it uses to actually break down and EQ out each and every single stem. If you actually did spend $200 to get that album, I feel so genuinely sorry for you. You got so fucking ripped off. Not only did you spend $200 for a Kanye West album, let alone it being Donda 2, you spent $200 on an album that was going to be hard locked behind a paywall and then 3 years later released in the midst of him on a fucking midlife crisis. I don't know what else really to say other than that. That's just what it is. That's just the truth of it all. And he went on also to, you know, iterate that he had other albums coming out. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Cuck, the album, I think was originally titled World War III. Also, he still has Bully that he's working on and that he's finishing putting out after Cuck, apparently. I'm so over it. The only reason that I'm even making this video is just for the fact that Donda 2 seems like one of those albums that people who do subscribe to me would, you know, expect me to react to. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm not going to react to that album. I did break my cardinal rule of not jumping through an album and listening, but I went to look for key fucking points that I remembered are on the original Donda 2, which I do still have saved on my phone. I went through and I listened, and there are still blatantly unfinished segments on that fucking album. In fact, the vast majority of changes and updates that I can find really are in the production and in the mixing, which, to be totally fair, was definitely a major part of Donda 2's needing to be done. But at the same time, there was just vocals that are literally just him mumbling, completely left untouched. I don't know. I apologize if you are expecting to see me react to Donda 2. Maybe once Kanye comes out and says officially that he is not going to touch or update the album on DSPs and that it is officially finished in the form that it is released, I might react to it then just to, you know, listen to it on camera to give my full thoughts on it in the final format. But as it stands right now, no, I'm not listening to Donda 2. I just don't really care about the album, and I don't want to sit here and listen to an album that I'm not gonna like. If it's not that changed, then I already have my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna enjoy it. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below, and if you guys do decide to listen to Donda 2 again, if you already heard it before, if this is your first time listening to it, please let me know what you think of the album down below. I'd be very, very, very interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are on it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you guys did enjoy it. And if you guys did, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to comment down below again your guys' thoughts on Donda 2 and just Kanye's whole kind of independent release plan here with releasing Donda 2, Cuck, and Bully. What a string of albums, really. And yeah, again, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for post notifications. And yeah, it's been Vecmen, and peace out.